Okay, people, we start the class today. Today is Wednesday the 20th, isn't it? Yes, Wednesday the 20th, right? And what we are going to do today is to advance a little bit with new topics, though I guess that they are not new topics because you have discussed this with Ceci last year, but we are going to see them from another point of view, okay? So, were you able to carry out the activities and the tasks I asked you that are in our classroom?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Right. Because there will be moments in which you need to get together and discuss with your companions, right? Share your answers with your companions. What I'm going to ask everybody is to silence your mic, please. Silence your mics. So now remember that if you need to ask me a question, you just open it and ask whatever you need, all right? Good, so let's start today. I'm going to, first of all, show you our classroom, right? This is the activities and the material that you have to prepare for today. What we are going to pay attention to is the role of interaction in the classroom. And by interaction, we mean not just oral interaction, but also written interaction, okay? There is one notion or one idea that you need to take into account, and is the one that I write here in the kind of title of the unit. It says, children learn a language by using it. If we tell children about the language, it's not use, right? There is no use in pointing out or talking about the language, telling them that there is something called as the present simple or the present continuous, or that they need to write an S when they are using a verb or whatever. That is talking about the language. And what is, I mean, there is evidence, strong evidence, that children, adolescents, adults, we learn a language by using it, okay? So this is something that we need to remember all through the year. There are, okay, so this is what you have to do. The very first task was to read this, these extracts about discourse, because we communicate through building, creating discourse. So what I'm going to do is to use my PowerPoint presentation. So it's easier for me to talk about it. Okay. So remember, right, this idea that children learn a language by using it. So whenever you are planning tasks for your practicas or for your classes, remember that whenever you are planning, think, okay, I need to create communicative situations for kids to use the language. Kids and adolescents, right? We are going to concentrate first on kids, and then we are going to see what happens with teens, teenagers. So, as I said before, we are going to discuss the role of interaction in the class. There are two guiding principles, right? And this has to do with our theory, what we believe language is. So first of all, meaning must come first. If children do not understand the spoken language, they can't learn it. The spoken, and I would say here, the spoken and the written language. If they don't understand it, they can't learn it. And then to create discourse, to learn discourse skills, children need both to participate in discourse and to build up knowledge and skills for participation, right? We know and we have discussed what discourse is. Do you remember what we said about discourse? What is discourse? Who can answer?
Language through context.
Okay, language and context. Okay, or language in context. All right. So whenever we are talking about language, we need also to analyze the context of situation. All right. So is this clear? Are these two principles clear to you? Yes? Just put your thumbs up, right? Remember the reactions, you can use the reactions, right? Okay, good. So remember, meaning and discourse, always. So whenever you are thinking about a class, whenever you are thinking about what task you are going to design, think about that. What meaning am I going to help kids to build, and what discourse skills are needed to participate in interactions, right? All right. So the idea, so we have questions, right? How do we develop their capacity to express meanings in multiple ways? What do we understand by discourse? So this is what you had in our classroom. Wow. There's number 8. Sir, can you mute your mic, please? All right, thank you. So the idea was for you to read this text, right? This excerpt, underlined keywords and phrases, and come up with an idea of the most, let's see, the main idea of this text. Can you very briefly explain what you learned by reading this text, this fragment? Who can start sharing your ideas? Nobody?
Yes, I can.
Okay, who says yes, I can?
Eileen.
Eileen. Okay, Eileen, can you get closer to your mic?
Yes, I am closer, but I think it doesn't work properly.
No, it works wonderfully. I think that you need to speak a little bit louder, right?
Okay.
Right.
I write it down that discourse is the use of the language,
Mm-hmm.
and it is longer than a sentence in written language, and in conversation longer than a short talk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's used in a context and for
Okay.
real purposes. This
Okay.
is what we call discourse events.
Okay. Perfect. Right. Any other comment about this? No? People, I need to be sure you read this excerpt. Did you all read it? Yes or no? I can't see you, so
Yes.
yes. Juan says yes. Okay, I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good, good, people.
Yes.
It's very important that you tell me, right, if you were not able to read, because if not, we would, let's see, try to read or summarize the most important concepts here, right? But it's very important that you come prepared to these meetings. Okay, I would like to add something to what Eileen said. Eileen said that discourse is longer than a sentence because it's written somewhere here. Yeah, it is okay, because before discourse analysis, when we analyze language, what we analyzed was the sentence, right? Like a sentence in isolation. But I'm going to ask you, or pay attention to this. If imagine this situation, it's early in the morning, there's a couple who got up and who are about to leave the house. One, for example, let's see, the man or the woman goes uh, out for out to work, and the other partner remains at home. And when, let's say, the woman is at the door, it says, bye bye, see you tonight. And the person in the house said, sushi. So, see you tonight. And then the response is sushi. Okay. this coherent and cohesive?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is. Why?
Yes.
What makes it? What makes it coherent and cohesive?
Okay, because it's a conversation. Maybe we don't know the context, but well, we suppose that they are going to meet together and eat some
Okay,
sushi.
okay, and
But
okay.
yeah,
And
but we
what
know
is,
the context.
okay, we know the context. And what's the meaning of see you tonight, sushi? What do you understand? What meaning do you create, Anna?
That tonight we are
Eat
going to eat sushi for
Exactly,
dinner.
exactly, right? That at night, when they come together after a long day of work, they are going to come together. They're going to go either go out to eat sushi or stay at home and eat sushi. Okay, so be careful when we say that this course is longer than a sentence, right? That has to do with the analysis, with discourse analysis, because the meaning is in order to understand discourse, we need to understand the context. Okay, and
So
you wait a minute. So you see that who is creating discourse? Who is creating meaning? We are creating meaning because we are analyzing the context and these two utterances. Yes, Andres.
it's like you told us before, it's going beyond the sentence.
Exactly. It goes beyond the sentence, right? Whenever we discuss discourse, it's because we go beyond the sentence. All right? Good. Now, for example, there is an example here when it says we must include the concept of use and the users of the text. A very simple example is a shopping list. If we consider the shopping list as a text, we have a list of items. If we consider the shopping list as discourse, then we have the text, but we must also consider many other elements around the list. It was written by a woman. This is very sexist. No, by a woman or a man, right? Who has a family and a house to look after, who was planning a trip to the supermarket, that the list was written on the back of an envelope or just a slip of paper, that it was intended to be used while walking around the supermarket, although in my
Anna,
case, yes.
so in terms of grammar, it would be only a list or a shopping list. And in terms of discourse, we analyze all that is in brackets.
Okay, in terms of grammar, we would use the following vocabulary, Eileen. We would say that in terms of lexicogrammatical exponents or devices, right? Because it's not that just grammar, right? Here we need to pay attention to lexis, which is vocabulary, and grammar. So in terms of lexicogrammatical devices, we would say that it's a list and it is a text, right? There are no sentences, just it's a list of, I don't know, I guess that these are nouns, because then you would have toilet paper, flour, vegetables, detergent, whatever. So if we think about this, we are thinking of a text made of a list of nouns that is going to be used as it is described here. All right?
Yes.
Good.
Anna,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
I want to ask, for example, when you ask to create discourse, is related to create a meaningful environment to the students.
Exactly.
Okay.
Our aim as teachers is to create significant and meaningful situations, the
Okay.
context for students to use language.
Okay, I
All
got
right?
it. Okay,
Good.
thank you.
Right. So then, okay, here there is the difference between the second use of discourse is in contrast to the sentence, right, that we've already discussed. And then, what else? Well, there you have other examples, right? Like, for example, these real units of language use are very seldom restricted to the length of a sentence or smaller, right? Although they can be, see, for example, a sign, right? A sign that says keep off. It's very short. It's not a long sentence, or just the word danger, right? So there, when we see keep off, danger, or I don't know, any other sign, right? We are creating discourse if we pay attention to the context, to the linguistic devices, to the uses, to the audience, all right? Yes, and the audience means, I mean, who's reading it, or who wrote it, who's reading it, the situation, okay? So why is this important when we are teaching? Because we need to create these situations for our kids. It's not just opening a book and go, I mean, throughout a list of exercises, number 1, number 2, number 3, right? And I mean, they are not creating meaning there. In most of them, what they do is to answer some questions, okay? So remember, they learn a language. We learn a language by using the language, okay? Good. Any questions about this? All right. So teaching through interaction is teaching to create discourse. That's what we said before. You were supposed to read 2 videos, right, of kids learning Spanish. These children speak English as their mother tongue. The aim of observing these children who are learning Spanish is based on the need to analyze foreign language teaching principles and to see how children learn to use languages, no matter whether it is English or French or Spanish or any other language, right? Generally, the didactics and the pedagogy for learning a second language is pretty much the same, right? The approach is the same, okay? So, do you remember the videos, right? The kids learning, wait a second, I'm going to,
Animals.
yeah, the one on the animals, yeah. Okay, here. Let me change, so at least you have an idea. This one, right? So, my question to you is, what are the children doing? How can this task help them learn a language, and what aspects of language are they learning, right? There were 3 questions, okay? And then after that, you needed to read this quotation by Widowson and try to relate this quotation with what we said or what we are going to say, okay? Yes? So what can you tell us about this video clip? What are children doing there? Who can answer?
They are describing animals, and they are, yes, the vocabulary.
All right, that's Rob, isn't it?
Description of the, yes.
Okay, Rob, okay. The children are describing animals. Okay, they are not describing, Rob, be careful, right? They are not describing vocabulary, they are describing
Yes.
animals, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, right, who else? Somebody else said something over there.
I say that they are learning also the same different kind of animals, but throughout the game.
Okay, that they are learning. Okay, they are learning the
gestures, gestures. The teacher, when she moves and she does different kind of gesture in order to produce to identify the kind of animal.
Okay, right. So they are learning the names of the animals, right?
Yes.
Something important, Hernanda, you said through a game. Okay, all right.
Yes.
What else? Okay, what else? Who else can participate here? What else can you say?
But
They're completing.
I wrote, can you hear me?
Yes, who's talking?
Diana.
Okay, Didi, tell us.
Yes. I wrote like a list,
Uh-huh.
and I wrote, children are guessing,
Mm-hmm.
learning, practicing animal parts, describing, using the language, playing while learning, and using cognitive skills.
Okay, all right. Good. Using computing skills. Okay. Lots of things. Very good, Didi. Right. Who
Yep.
else? Who else? Good.
They're completing a chart on the
Okay.
blackboard and
Are they
using the structure. Well, I saw that there's this like a chart on the blackboard. They're using mi animal tiene or mi animal no tiene.
No tiene. Okay. Tiene
Yes.
or no tiene. The famous word if we were teaching English, what is the structure, the linguistic exponents that we would be focusing on? Tiene, no tiene.
Have or has.
Okay, have got, has got. He has got, he hasn't got, right? Okay, very good. All right. So,
But Anna,
yes, I did.
for me, but what I could see in the video
Mhm.
is that children have previous knowledge about animals and part of the, for example, wings or tail.
Mm-hmm.
What is new maybe is the grammar structure.
Okay, okay, very good. So if I ask you what aspect of language they are learning, you would say they are the focus is on the lexicogrammatical expression or linguistic exponent of have or has got. Okay, very good, very good. So this is what I'm going to add to what you said. In this particular example, children are playing a guessing game. They are using the language to guess, right? They are using the language to guess. So that would be prácticas de lenguaje. Use the language to guess, all right? In the game, children have a communicative purpose. On the one hand, those who listen are doing so with an aim, to guess what animal is being described. On the other hand, the child who speaks is giving the others clues for them to guess. What are they doing there? They are negotiating meaning. Okay? Yes? So they are playing. There is a communicative purpose. On the one hand, one is listening and the other is speaking, right? And while they do that, they are negotiating meaning. And I guess that something which is very important is that they're having fun, okay? We don't need to forget that. Then, the class shows one of the main principles of language class in primary school. Learning a language is learning to interact in the language. It is learning to negotiate meaning through oral, written, and multimedia texts. All right? When we speak about interaction, we are considering language in its social perspective. That is to say, as a vehicle of meaning between people who communicate within a context and with certain purposes. So this is something that we shouldn't forget, people. Language, we are social individuals. Education is a social and human activity. So we can't forget the social perspective. If our view of language is a functional view of language, as we have already said in previous classes, we need to pay attention to these ideas, right? The idea of negotiating meaning, interacting in the language in meaningful situations and contexts. And we are the responsibles to provide those communicative situations to our students, okay? So remember, language is social. We learned through interacting and through communicating and sharing ideas with the rest of the individuals. And then language is a vehicle of meaning, okay? Now, what's very important here is the context and the purpose of language. What is the context here in this class? Well, they are playing a game. And what is the purpose? To guess, using the language to guess. Okay? Is this clear? Yes?
Yes.
All right, good. Any questions? No? Now, we needed to read the quotation by Whittleson that I included in our classroom, and try to relate this quotation with the concepts that we discussed. So the quotation that is here says, people produce texts to get a message across, to express ideas and beliefs, to explain something, to get other people to do certain things or to think in a certain way, and so on. So here, what do we have? These are the funciones del lenguaje. Remember the diagram of what of content that we discussed last class when I said what is content? Well, content is the interplay of the context, the linguistic exponents, the functions. There we have language to explain, to express ideas or belief, to get people to do certain things or to think in a certain way, plus the task. Never forget that, okay? So, only 10 minutes. We can refer to this complex of communicative purposes as the discourse that underlines the text and that motivates its production in the first place. But at the retrieving end, readers or listeners have to make meaning out of the text to make it a communicative reality. In other words, they have to interpret the text as discourse that makes sense to them. Text in this view do not contain meaning, but are used to mediate, okay, and to build meaning. That's why in the example that I told you before, I mean, the couple saying goodbye in the morning, when the man says, see you tonight, and the woman says, sushi, right? We are interpreting text as discourse. We are paying attention to the context. Of course, we are paying attention to the language that is uttered, but in what context? And who is saying what to whom? Okay, so in that way, we are creating discourse. Okay, people, when this communication breaks, remember to get into the classroom again. Can you do that? Yes, so we have more time to discuss.
Yes.
Because we are not going to finish with everything, okay? Now, coming back to the video, right? The role of the teacher is outstanding in this process. The teacher is the first to show the example, since she is the first to use the language meaningfully as discourse, right? Establishing the context in which language occurs and setting the task in which children have to use language to convey meaning, right? So she sets the model, she gives an example, right? She creates the rules, and she's telling, we are going to play, all right? So what does the curriculum design say about this point, right? So if teaching children a language is helping children to create discourse by doing things with English, remember, kids or adolescents or our students need to do things with English. That is to say, they need to interact with others for different purposes. The type of activities that teachers select for their classes should foster the use of language to create discourse. So what are those activities? What do we call the activities? According to the theoretical underpinnings of the curriculum design, we need to design what? What kind of activities? What's the name that we give to those activities?
Teaching sequence?
No, the activities. Yes.
Task.
Task.
Okay.
Ah,
Task.
okay.
Okay. Task. Right. And of course, yes, Ro. Then the teaching sequence is a sequence of tasks and subtasks, right? The pre-task, the core task. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Good. Let's see. 6 minutes. Okay. Let me check what else. So what we are going to see now is the idea, or we are going to revisit the idea of tasks. And in this task that you should have carried out, you needed to read this modos de conocer or task in the curriculum design for primary school and in the former curriculum design. Okay, so there were pages 294, 326, and 340, 41. Okay, after reading that, you needed to watch the video and analyze, I mean, these videos, and analyze the videos trying to answer these questions, right? And the question is, do they show tasks? What context do they belong to? What linguistic exponents would be taught? What functions would kids be using to perform the tasks? Okay, so were you able to jot down some ideas?
Yes.
Yes, all right.
Yes.
So what can you tell me? We have 5 minutes. What can you tell me? In this, do you remember the video here, right? That we're talking about body parts and then the other, they were kind of doing something
Yeah,
with chocolate cake.
Yes, how to make a cake.
Okay, so yes, what can you tell me about the answers to these questions?
The first one shows the part of the body, and the second one, of course, shows how to make a cake.
Okay, now, all right, that will be describing
according to the task.
Okay, so are these tasks?
They show task.
Okay, Hernan, according to what, I mean, because we have to read the curriculum design. So according to the what the curriculum designs say, are these tasks what the teachers are doing in the classes? Are these tasks?
No.
No, I think no.
Okay, Rosario says no. Wait. Rosario says no. Eileen, what do you say?
No.
No. Hernan, what do you say?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. I think yes.
Wait. Who says yes? Who are the ones who say yes? Okay, Lucia.
Me.
Okay, Anabela, Maria, yes. Anabela, what do you think?
Sorry,
Okay.
I think the first yes, but the second no.
Okay, the first yes and the second no. Okay, all right.
According what I saw in the video.
Okay, Axel. Okay, that's okay. Axel, what can you say? I want your input, Axel.
I think it is the opposite. The first one no, and the second one yes.
Okay, Marina Casinave. Yes or no?
In the first one, yes, but in the second one, for me, no.
No.
It's just an activity.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to my...
Hello?
Hello? Yes, Anna.
Hi, here I am.
Yes.
I was having problems with my microphone.
Don't worry, don't worry. Okay, so the activities, right? The activities you have seen in the videos show two real life situations. Are they real life situations? Yes. And in those life situations, people use language. One for cooking together and the others for singing. Cooking together, imagine the situation. That would be a context at home, right? We do not cook at school generally, and generally we do it at home. So in both cases, there is a clear objective, making cookies and having fun respectively. In both cases, language is used as a means to achieve those goals. That is to say, language is a means to an end. We use language with a purpose, okay? So, from a pedagogic perspective, it is possible to say that children are not learning the language to use it. This is important. Children in these activities or tasks, they are not learning the language in order to use it. They are using the language in order to learn it. Okay? Is that clear? You see the difference, right?
Yes.
So this is the reason why when we teach through tasks, language and tasks become one. They are inseparable. Think about that. The communication is going to break in less than a minute. Think about that while you try to join the classroom again. Language and tasks become one. They are inseparable. All right? So I leave you with that idea, and we come back in some seconds. Okay?
Okay.
Good.